God's divine protection is such a blessing. He goes before us and He looks out for us. And sometimes when we're in the midst of a serious situation, we focus on the situation and the imminent danger that we're facing, what's going to happen, how detrimental things could be. And we need to shift that focus back to God and remember all of the times He's brought us out. And not only all of the times that He's brought us out, just all of the times that we have seen Him move on behalf of His people. And knowing that we are children of God, that should always give us the faith to keep moving. You never want to get to a point in life where you want to give up or where you start to look back or you start to regret your decision to follow the Lord. Giving your life to God is the best decision that you could ever make. And if I'm going to just pause right here, if you have not done so, do it right now. Give your life to God and make that commitment to follow Him and walk into His divine love and protection. This week's subject is deliverance from Pharaoh's army. And these children of Israel and Pharaoh and the Egyptians have been battling for a long time. And we've gone through this lesson. And I love the fact that our curriculum broke this down bit by bit so that we could really see the hand of God in this entire situation, because that's important, because it's important that we can see the hand of God in everything that we go through. And this series has been so encouraging to me, because when you're in a situation, when you're facing things that you don't see a way out, and by all natural, logical standards, you're supposed to be done. God says not so. God says freedom. God says deliverance. And that is what we are celebrating today, the deliverance from Pharaoh's army. And as we talked about last week, God allowed Moses to use his rod to part the Red Sea, and the children of Israel went through on dry ground. And I know that was last week's lesson, but I love the fact that, a seabed should be full of mud, but they walked through on dry ground and He took them through. And so now we see here that now we have Pharaoh's army and they pursued them once God opened up the sea, and once they got across to the other side, to the other bank. Now, Pharaoh, God removed the pillar that was halting the Egyptians, dividing them from the Israelites. God moved the blockage and they began to pursue them into the water. And God told Moses again, He said, go ahead and stretch out your rod. And he stretched out the rod, and that sea came together. Now, two places it says, in the beginning it says all of them, all of the chariots, his entire army went into the seabed. Okay. And then He stretched out His rod, and it says that all of them drowned. Again, I'm going to go back to what I said last week about this complete deliverance. God destroyed all of His enemies, everything, everybody that was coming against them, and He brought them to safety. There were no stray soldiers or no stray horses that could come with a couple of bows and arrows and pick off a couple of them. No. And He did this, and every single one, listen to this, every single one of the soldiers died, and every single one of the children of Israel lived. I just feel that. I want you to just say right now, I'm going to live, because God is so good and He's so powerful and He is right there. Don't allow anything that you're facing to make you give up on God. We saw last week, and we will see throughout the story, how the children of Israel, they got faint, right? And they started to try to go back into Egypt. And Moses had to still them and tell them to keep going. Whatever it is, keep going. This lesson is for me. Keep going. Don't stop. And so we're going to look at this, and it says that they got through, and God said that this was for His glory. The lesson says that the Lord saved the children of Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians, and that the children of Israel saw the great work of the Lord. And I don't know what it is about this lesson, but it makes me feel like the Lord saved me right with them. This lesson is just such a blessing because when you are on a mission for God, when you've been set apart for God to do his work, to worship him. Remember, Moses told Pharaoh, I need you to let us go so that we may worship the Lord in the wilderness. I've got a job to do and I've got a God to glorify. When you take that stand, the enemy, he just runs against you. As we see, Pharaoh sent plague after plague. He would not let them go. And then he sent his entire army. He didn't just send a few companies. He sent his entire army. The entire force of Egypt went into Israel, into the wilderness after the children of Israel. His goal was to annihilate them. The devil has situations, he has people that's on a mission to annihilate you. But God said, not so. God said, live and not die. God said, go forward. And I said this last week, he told Moses to use that rod. You are equipped with whatever you need to make it through whatever is going on. Take it from me. God will see you through. I'm not telling you something that I read. Yes, I did read it, but I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you what God has done for me. I'm telling you that God is sustaining me. I'm telling you that God is keeping me. And I'm telling you that because I know that he will do the same thing for you. We're living in a time where we have to stand. And if we can't stand, fall down on your knees and pray, then get back up and just keep standing. God delivered the children of Israel from Pharaoh's army. So whatever it is that is attacking you, no matter what it may do, trust God for complete deliverance.